Well, okay then. So, the big, massive rumor of the day has been over these supposed Nintendo leaks, specifically surrounding Retro Studios' current project, which us fans of the Big N have been dying to learn more about. And well, we may have possibly found out what that game is today. Apparently, this started in your typical places where rumors swirl, Reddit, 4chan, and that. But it really started becoming broadly reported on today that Retro Studios' new game may very well be a Star Fox racing game titled Star Fox Grand Prix. It seemed insane to me too when I first heard about it, but here's the thing, this isn't just chatter coming from some forums now. Some big sites are reporting to be hearing stuff from various insiders. Jason Schreier over at Kotaku mentioned that they have one source that they say is, quote, plugged into the goings-on at Nintendo that is saying the same, as well as two other sources. I believe Eurogamer said they have some sources reporting on this. Obviously, this doesn't confirm anything, but I'm just trying to say it's not like it's purely stemming from just random people talking somewhere online. This logo art was also revealed, which, honestly, this is the first thing I saw, and I was like, alright, this has to be fake. Just, to me, seems so generic. It could be more of a working title thing, but yeah, and a lot of this does just, it seems weird to me. First of all, I expected something pretty grand scale to come out of Retro. Now that, we know they've been working on whatever it is for a long time. Like, this has been several years of build, and honestly, a racing game, really, probably any racing game, would feel lackluster to me. Now, I believe it was the Game Informer article where I read this, but there have been reports apparently of frustration and difficulties with the development of Retro's new game. This could be for this Star Fox racing game, but I could also see a possibility where, if this is the game, they may have actually been working on something else, perhaps even Star Fox related, but complications forced them to pivot and go this route. That's just speculation on my part, though. So let's just talk about this game itself in a bubble for a second. The rumor is also suggesting this would be more along the lines of a Diddy Kong Racing, where there is an adventure mode of sorts with various challenges and perhaps even boss fights, which that is pretty cool. I do like the sound of it. Maybe the adventure mode feels more akin to traditional Star Fox, and there's just a focus on this racing stuff. And I will say, before I go into more of my personal thoughts, let's try to remember, even if this is real, we don't know much about it. This could be a totally new, awesome take on Star Fox that we just never thought of, possibly blending classic elements of the series with some more multiplayer and competitive aspects. Even if we do get a Star Fox racing game, that's hardly a farther departure than, say, Star Fox Adventures, right? And there have been times where going into one of these, big franchise shifts, I was pissed off before I got the actual game and ended up being pleasantly surprised when I played it. I've said it numerous times, I'm not a big first-person shooter guy, so, oh boy, was I irritated when I saw Metroid Prime was going to be a first-person shooter, but when we actually got the game, it turned out to be way more than just your standard first-person shooter. That's what I'm trying to say. Because, yeah, a racing game in the Star Fox universe does seem like an odd choice to me. Like, I understand with, like, the ships and that. I don't really think the characters are that interesting. There's some cool characters in Star Fox, but I don't think you can put together, like, a Mario Kart-esque roster. And where to go beyond that, like, how does the game play? I really don't know. But I have been pleasantly surprised by these shifts in the past. So, just reaffirming, in terms of this game on its own, if it even exists, we should have an open mind. Now, for my personal thoughts. If this game is a real thing, first of all, Nintendo, how dare you? Oh, let's make a futuristic sci-fi racing game with spaceships. Oh wait, you already have a franchise like that you do nothing with. I'm sorry, even if this game is awesome, it is, in my opinion, a slap in the face to F-Zero fans. Yes, I'm with you there, people, if you're in this camp. You already have a series that dates back decades that fans have been pestering you to do more with, and rather than make a new entry in that, you do a Star Fox racing spin-off? Now, I know that F-Zero is, yes, basically a dead franchise at this point, outside of the Nintendo fan base. This series has no recognition, no real name value in the general public. If you go up and ask somebody about F-Zero, they're not going to know what you're talking about. But let's also not pretend like Star Fox is thriving right now. Star Fox Zero didn't exactly set the world on fire, okay? And I like the game, but let's be real about its reception. People didn't like it. And worst of all, not many people really cared. It's not like they were devastated when the game came out and disappointed them. They just moved on. Because Star Fox also isn't the name it once was. So I don't really see that argument as, oh, Star Fox is the big name. Plus, when a franchise has been gone as long as F-Zero, you basically just give it a reboot and treat it as something new for those who aren't familiar with it. So yeah, I don't really see the brand factor being a big deal. Yes, people haven't had anything F-Zero in a long time, but also in the case of Star Fox, the last game left a bad taste in people's mouths. So I don't really know necessarily that that's the better route to go. So if the game is pretty much straight racing, yes, I will be pissed that they didn't go with F-Zero. That would really frustrate me, again, if the game exists. If you're wondering why, I always have to keep saying it's a rumor if it exists, even if I say it 100 times, there will still be people in the comments like, oh, it's not confirmed, it's just a rumor. Still. But I totally get both sides of this reaction to it. You can't judge it with so little to go off of. Maybe it will be more than just a racing game. Maybe it will be awesome, a new take on the genre. But even if it is, like I said, even if they do make a great Star Fox racing game, it will feel, and I believe rightfully so, like a slap to the people clamoring for F-Zero. When that franchise is, at its core, a futuristic sci-fi space sort of racing game. That's what that's what it's all about. So I don't get why you need a spin-off like that when you already have a series that's its core. But let's take all that and push it to the side for a second and bring it back to this idea that this is the new retro game. I think this game, if it is a racing game, I don't care what franchise it is. Okay, even if it was an F-Zero game. Honestly, after all this time, all this waiting people have been enduring to hear about Retro's next title, if you give them a racing game, it better be a pretty damn good one, or I think you are going to have a lot of disappointed players. Anyway, I don't want to get too into the rambling territory. Let me know what you think of this Star Fox Grand Prix rumor in the comments. Is this something you'd be interested in? Are you one of the F-Zero fans who would feel burned by such a release? As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.